and welcome to a new episode of Nile TV Newsroom Live. I'm Raham Morsi, and today we have a number of different segments. First, we start off with the world of politics. Then we take a closer look at what's happening in the world of business and finance. And sometimes we have stories all about interesting worlds when it comes to technology and the arts. We end our show with our final segment where we take a closer look at the world of sports. So stay tuned. We have a lot in store for you in this episode after the break. Welcome back. We start off with the political segment where President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said the Global Congress on Health, Population and Development is an important platform to discuss population. He was speaking Tuesday at the inauguration of the Congress, which he said will be held annually. The President said financial resources directed to education cannot be increased under the increased population rate, saying Africa's population is projected to reach 1.6 billion in the near future, adding that overpopulation is the biggest challenge also facing Egypt. The President said reproduction freedom is not ultimate because it is tied to the development file. He added it is important to support the role of the National Council for Population and directed that the Prime Minister preside over the council. The President said the cost of development in Egypt went through have affected resources directed to face overpopulation. President al-Sisi also attended the first session of the Global Conference on Population and Development, dubbed Population and the Future of Healthcare, Challenges and Chances. Addressing the session, he said the state has exerted a tremendous amount of effort to overcome overpopulation. He said in the past 10 years, there had been witnessed also big efforts in all paths to overcome the gap between the population growth rates aimed for population rates. The Global Congress on Population, Health and Development was held in Cairo under the auspices of President al-Sisi on Tuesday. And addressing the event, Health Minister Khalid Abdel Ghaffar said overpopulation is one of the biggest challenges facing development, saying it is a 6-decade-old problem. In his address, he reviewed efforts to reduce population growth rates. He said Egypt is nominated to increase by 17 million in the coming 10 years. Abdel Ghaffar said the family planning is the largest project that he has adopted. He also reviewed the most significant Egyptian family health scanning indicators and the features of the National Strategy for Population. Organizers said the event drew the attendance of 8,000 participants. And joining us over the phone to tell us more about this is Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good evening to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Sir, can you tell us a bit about the significance of having this conference, especially that is something that's not just local, it includes many international participants as well?
We are seeing nowadays plenty of efforts in the foreign affairs, in the internal affairs about our economic development, education, healthcare, transport and industry, agriculture. I see that the government is working on all the fronts, thank God. Now today, specifically, we were talking about the development issue and the rate of development, and also the birth rate was touched here, because as a matter of fact, the birth rate is eating more than half of the development rate. So we need to sort of organize our birth rate problem. The President was talking that we are prepared to send Egyptians legally to countries where they need more migrants. I want to add here to what the President is saying, that a country like Italy, they granted us 8,000 visas for those who want to go and to work officially and legally. Same thing with Greece, they granted us 2,000 visas. Unfortunately, I am telling you and I'm telling our audiences that we did not receive many Egyptians trying to make use of these visas and this opportunity. Why? Because we are asking them before going to join training courses in order to go ready to join a job immediately. Whether a carpenter, whether a builder, whether an engineer, whatever. And it takes 3 months of training, and the government paid them a sort of pocket money to survive this 3 months. It was not successful, unfortunately, but we need that our mass media make enough information about this. We need to encourage our young generation who are seeking jobs abroad to come and to make use of these offers.
Mr. Ambassador, the issues that face the world in general are very different. For instance, the President spoke about how overpopulation is an actual issue in the African continent. But at the same time, many other areas around the world, there is an issue with underpopulation, like in some Eastern European countries and European countries and Asian countries as well. They have an issue with the number of birth rates. They're not enough to compensate the workforce. Is there some way to find a balance around the world between these countries? For instance, increase the amounts of immigration from one continent to another?
Yes, this is what's happening in Europe, that many countries in Europe, most of the countries of Europe are diminishing because the birth rate is less than the death rate. So they welcome new migrants in order to make the balance. But they are against illegal migration. Because an illegal migrant, he is now he will be a victim of terrorism, a victim of drug trafficking or money laundering and terrorism. So we are not encouraging them to go illegally. So from our side as the government of Egypt, and many governments in Europe are ready to receive more and more Egyptians. And by the way, we have more than 1 million Egyptians living in Europe, very respectable. They are on top in their jobs. One Greek diplomat told me that 25% of the fleet in the Greek fleet are coming from Egypt, especially from north of Egypt, from the Meta. So also in the textile industry, many Egyptians are working in Greece. This is the situation. We need our mass media to inform our young generation about these opportunities and to make enough information about it and to encourage them to do this. We are proud that we have 11 million Egyptians living abroad, and they are one of the most important source of foreign currency. Last year they transferred more than $30 billion. This is the largest sum of money coming to Egypt. It equals our export revenues. It is 5 times more than the Suez Canal. It is twice as much as the tourism. So why not that Egypt now is a main source of newcomers and legal migrants?
Okay, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, the former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for joining us over the phone. We're going to take a short break and move on with the rest of it.